So, all right, are we? Is there anybody that should be banking on Kirk Cousins this year? Like, C-Rob, is there anybody that is Kirk Cousins going to start somewhere in this football season?
I don't think so. And I think even if, let's say he gets traded. Okay, so first and foremost, I do think he's pissed. I think he didn't show up to OTAs. I think he's upset. I think he feels like Arthur Blank lied to him in some way where he thought, he was going to be moved out of the franchise and then it didn't happen. So I think he feels lied to. And I think if he gets dealt and starts, it's because a quarterback injury occurred and there was a severe need because there's no other job open right now. I think it's just as likely that he gets dealt somewhere because some team loses a backup and just wants an experienced backup. But I think right now, obviously, he's pushing back, not showing up to OTAs. I think it pressurizes what's going on there, and it becomes a little bit more of a distraction. So, I think there's a chance he's not on the Falcons roster when the season starts, but I just don't see him starting for another NFL team.
It's possible he starts for the Falcons at some point this year. But Jory, who is obviously very, very smart, so I try to listen to her, she opened my eyes to the fact that why would Atlanta just give him away at this point? Because they need a backup quarterback. Michael Penix has a long injury history. We don't know Michael Penix is great yet. We think he is.
And you've already paid him,
Frank.
You're paying him.
You've already paid him. You already paid him. So Kirk Cousins could retire. That's the thing. It's always like, oh, this guy demanded a trade or this guy's holding out. And all teams really have to do is say, Kirk, okay, you can go retire, be with your family. That's cool. That's one of your options. But if you want to play football this year and make all that money, it's going to be with the Atlanta Falcons. Like, that's the only option you have. And I think the Falcons are in a position now where that is their only option. Like, what else are they going to do with this guy? Unless, like you said, an injury happens sometime in August or even a backup injury or something. But even then, the Falcons are going to have to get enough of a return where it makes sense to go in without any safety net behind Michael Penix. And I don't know that they want to do that. I think they would if they save enough money and they get a decent enough pick. But I just don't see that. I just really honestly don't see it happening because, I don't know. Like, and Charles, we were texting about this. I did want to, I think Cousins is done as really an effective NFL quarterback. What I saw last year was pretty bad. Like, he looked old. He looked slow. The injury caught up to him. The age caught up to him. Except for that game on Thursday night against the Buccaneers where he just went nuclear for 509 yards. He just did not look like a quarterback who's going to bounce back at age 37 to me. But I know you feel differently, and I want to hear it because I saw a guy who I thought was really honestly cooked.
I don't necessarily feel differently in terms of how he looked. He did look. He did. He looked physically out of it. Yes. He looked like he had hit a cliff. What I think, though, is we don't know for sure until we see him on the field again. And the reason why I say that is I think Kirk spent a ton of time rehabbing the Achilles, trying to get himself back out on the field. And I don't think he did the arm work that he needed to do at this age. This point in his career, you have to keep your arm in shape. And I think he suffered from arm fatigue. I really do. I think if you go back and watch the games, you will see the later in the season it goes, all of a sudden he's not throwing it the same. And I even thought at one point, I'm like, is he injured and they're hiding it? Because he just does not look right out there. And I truly believe it was because he poured so much energy and, everything he had into rehabbing the Achilles and just getting himself back out there that he didn't do what he needed to do from an arm standpoint, and fatigue kicked in. And then once fatigue kicked in, and I don't know if it was soreness or what it was, he started making some really bad decisions and he had no arm to compensate for it. So to me, I kind of want to see, okay, now he's had the whole season, he had the whole offseason, he's doing the work he needs to do. His arm really should be where it is because it's a very specific process of conditioning your arm in the offseason, preparing it to throw for a full NFL season. He's had an ability to do that. Now I want to see him back on the field and see if there is some bounce back there, some elasticity in terms of him at least looking physically better. If there isn't, then it's definitely over. But I still think we need one more look at him for confirmation.
That's fair. And I do think, I will say that I do agree that there's very good points, by the way. I just wonder about the age, because now the age multiplies all this stuff. Like, yeah, okay, you're going to work out your arm more, but you've lost some arm strength. And he was never a 98-mile-an-hour fastball guy. He was always living like Greg Maddux at 91, 90. You know, you drop down to 80-something, and all of a sudden you're not the same guy. But I do think that it's another point why he could be a pretty darn good backup quarterback. You need a guy for 3 weeks. He probably got enough juice for 3 weeks. He probably doesn't have enough juice for 17 anymore. That's my opinion. I don't know, but it comes back to he's a pretty good backup quarterback for the Atlanta Falcons right now. And they might need that at some point. And who knows? He's paid a lot for a backup quarterback. That's the weird part. But the Falcons have reimagined this thing so unconventionally already that who cares? This is what we're paying our quarterback room. Who cares who's number 1 and number 2 on the pay scale? Like, this is just what it is. We've already paid the guy, so we might as well have him as a good backup.
You just got to look at him as a tandem. I think if you're the Falcons and you keep them, you just go, here's the number we committed to 2 guys. Doesn't matter which one's starting. Doesn't matter which one's the backup.
Yeah.
We
and
committed this
the money they have
guys,
those 2 guys is reasonable.
To look at the overall performance of Michael Penix Jr., who we all agree had moments in the last few games that he started that looked good. But also, if you look at the actual numbers, I mean, he completed 55% of his passes in the last game, 54% in the game before that. Like, you're talking about somebody that threw for a total last year of 775 yards, 3 touchdowns, 3 picks. I only read those stats because the conversation around Penix has grown well past the actual evidence of Penix has grown. So if I'm Atlanta, I guess what I continue to say to everybody that thinks Kirk Cousins is as good as gone is, if I'm Atlanta, why? Right now, the only other backup I have on my roster is Easton Stick. You're going to go into the season with Easton Stick? No, you're not going to do that.
Because they can win that division. They can win that division. They should go in to preseason, training camp, all that thing, saying we can win the NFC South. So why would you leave yourself with Easton Stick as your backup? That's
I understand that, like, Kirk Cousins wants out, but that's where, like, my mom used to always say, people in hell want ice water. Like, I just look. I understand Kirk Cousins wants out, and I understand that we get, like, the general NFL collective steps back and they're like, well, can't have these 2 quarterbacks. If I'm Arthur Blank, kindly, Kirk, I don't really give a damn what you want. Like, I need a backup quarterback. I don't have a backup quarterback. I paid you a lot of money to not be as good as you needed to be last year. I'm paying you a lot of money this year. I don't get a lot of money back if I send you somewhere else. So kindly screw off, come to work. Like, I'm not going to let you just walk over me.
Not only that, now I don't, you know, I can't speak to whether it would happen or not, but you would hope that Kirk is compensated to a point and professional enough that he can actually help Michael Penix be a better quarterback. Now, does he want to do that? You know, most guys are going to say, no, that you benched me. You threw me behind this guy. I'm not going to help him. You screwed me over. I'm not going to help him and help the organization when I feel like you screwed me over. I would like to believe that Kirk is above that he can sit there and go, look, situation sucks. I definitely feel like ownership lied to me. I don't think the kid had anything to do with that. You know, he came in here. He's just trying to make his way. It's not like he snaked me or anything. Like, this is how it goes when you draft a guy with, you know, the 8th pick in the draft. So I'm going to do my duty and help the kid along as much as I possibly can, help him develop as much as I possibly can. And then that way, when I get out of the organization, I can hold my head high and go, you know what? I was a good soldier, man. I did what I needed to do. I didn't hold it against the kid. I was pissed at the owner, yeah, but I didn't hold it against this kid. And Penix will have nothing but good things to say about me and the experience, the fact that I was there for him. Even though I didn't want to be on the roster, I was still there for that kid.
And for a guy who looks like a future star in the media, that helps too. Like, his reputation
absolutely
stays, oh, hey, Kirk Cousins was the ultimate pro, and now he goes and works for NBC or whatever. Yeah, so, and also I just think Kirk would be professional. Like, he's making a lot of money. He's made a lot of money. He would suck it up. Right now, this is his only recourse is to sit out OTAs, which is not even a big deal. They're quote-unquote voluntary. Who cares? Like, he's not there. He's throwing a little tantrum. He's trying to get traded. Whatever he's trying to do. At the end of the day, he's going to come in and play, and he's going to do the best of his ability because he's a professional, getting paid a lot of money. And like you said, I mean, all this, he doesn't want to ruin his reputation. Like, it's just, he wants to have his head held high as he finishes his NFL career, wherever it leads him. And that's the way to do it. And I think he will.
And if I'm Arthur Blank, I gave him $50 million as a signing bonus. And I'm looking at him saying, hey, You've gotten your money. You got I have paid you for what I said I would pay you for,
Fitz,
which is opportunity.
He's kicked him another $10 million guaranteed next year, by hanging on to him. So he's given him another $10 million that he's definitely going to get. So now there's offset language, obviously. So, anywhere he goes, whatever he gets paid comes out of that $10 million
those
next year.
prices at Home Depot are going up, y'all. We need to pay for Kirk somehow. It's going to be those nails in that refrigerator I'm going to buy.
Next time I go through the checkout line at Home Depot, I'm going to just talk to the checkout person and be like, how much of this is going back to Kirk Cousins?
Look at a $700 hammer.
I love the idea of you're checking out, and at the bottom, instead of charity, it's like, would you like to donate $1 towards the contract of Kirk Cousins? It's like, yeah, I would. Just keep the price of my hammer and nails down. Okay.